Alright, how's it going everyone? So in this video, I am going to be giving you guys some of my thoughts and opinions on the iPhone 11 Pro and whether or not it is a good phone to pick up on the used market. And I thought I would go ahead and kind of give some thoughts on the iPhone 11 Pro and whether or not it is worth picking up. So now there are, or were rather, several versions of the iPhone 11 series of phones that came out back in 2019. Now, you had the standard iPhone 11, which was basically the successor to the iPhone XR from 2018. And the 11 basically was the budget option. And then you had the Pro phones, which would be the 11 Pro, as we have here, as well as the 11 Pro Max, which was just the larger screen size version of the standard 11 Pro. So the 11 Pro has the A13 Bionic chip inside, which is still to this day, in my opinion, a beast of a processor for a smartphone. I mean, it essentially can still handle almost nearly anything you throw at it, whether it be an intensive game that you might be wanting to play, an intensive graphical app that might be for productivity, an AR type of situation, so you want to do augmented reality, whatever it may be, this phone still handles all of that almost perfectly. Now, I say almost because it is starting to show its age due to the older processor and some of the new apps and stuff that are coming out. It does start to slow down ever so slightly, but it's not really, for the average person, going to be all that noticeable. Now, currently, you can basically find this particular phone on the used market from anywhere, considering the condition, obviously. You can find some that have really poor condition, and you can find some that are in very, very good condition. So it varies price-wise, but on average, you can basically find this particular phone for anywhere around $300 to $400 for a 64 gigabyte configuration in essentially whatever color you want. The color that I have here is the gold version, which is actually pretty nice in person. On video, it doesn't really portray the color very well, but in person, the gold 11 Pro is pretty nice to look at. The back frosted glass does appear to have a little bit of a pinkish salmon color to it, whereas the gold rails along the side have a very deep, nice color of gold to them. But it also retains and still has that reminiscent and or familiar design of the iPhone that has been around since the iPhone 6 from 2014. And what I mean by that is that it still has that rounded off design, so where the corners and the edges are very round and the screen kind of slowly or ever so slightly curves around the edge to meet the frame of the phone. And it's supposed to kind of give you that nice in the hand feel, and when swiping around with your finger, it's just supposed to feel like a one solid surface. And it does. I mean, I don't complain about that, but the design at this point is definitely very old, because we have phones such as the iPhone 13 Pro and the iPhone 14 Pro, which have the more squared off, more modern looking design, and with the flat front screen and the flat back, which I actually kind of prefer. Personally, I like the more flat, squared off design of the phones more than I did the rounded off corners and the rounded kind of curving display. But that's just me. But there are probably still some of those people that like the curved design of the iPhone, and that's totally fine. To each their own. That's totally cool. But yeah, so that is another thing. So the screen on this is, it's an OLED, but is a little bit of an older OLED, and it's more reminiscent and similar to the iPhone 10 and 10s, which were the generations prior to this phone. And it does not have 120 hertz refresh rate if you're someone that is looking for a high refresh rate iPhone. If you're looking for that, then you'd probably want to go for a used iPhone 13 Pro or 14 Pro. And now those phones are, as well, on the used market, considerably more expensive than this phone here. So if you're, again, someone that's wanting a good phone in a good price range, the 11 Pro is going to probably hands down do it for you. But by no means, this screen is fantastic, and because it's OLED, all the blacks are completely black and just looks super nice. And HDR content still does to this day look really, really nice. So I pretty much don't have any huge complaints other than the refresh rate of this phone. So really, it's a super nice screen and a nice thing to be looking at. In terms of cameras, this particular phone has a triple camera setup. Now, one thing to note is the 11 Pro was the first iPhone basically to ever include 3 camera lenses all at once. So the third camera on this particular iPhone is an ultra wide. And again, the 11 Pro was the first ever iPhone to include an ultra wide camera lens on the device. So the ultra wide on this particular phone is not great. Let's just say that the quality of it is not great since it is a first gen ultra wide for the iPhone. The quality is subpar considering what we have nowadays with our ultra wides on, say, the 14 Pro. The 14 Pro has an absolutely superior wide angle lens comparing it to, say, the 11 Pro right here. There's no comparison. I mean, the quality is way better. However, it's not bad. Again, for someone wanting to stay on a budget, it's totally sufficient for that. Now, the primary sensor and the telephoto, however, both of those, in my opinion, are really good. The quality that comes out of it is solid. As long as you have enough lighting, you're going to get some really nice photos. As well, the standard lens and the telephoto are also both still optically stabilized, so that will improve or help improve a low light performance for photo taking. But the ultra wide does not have any form of optical stabilization, primarily because you don't need it in an ultra wide, because the physics of an ultra wide and how it works, you typically can get away with a little bit of a slower shutter speed handheld without any stabilizer than you can with the telephoto or the standard lens, just by the way, again, that the ultra wide focal length works. But bringing in a slightly older phone here, this is an iPhone 10. As you can see, the dual camera setup there on the 10, and this one has, again, that triple lens setup. And the lenses on the 11 Pro compared to the 10 are much bigger because the sensors themselves are also much bigger. Now, if you were to happen to compare this to a 13 Pro or 14 Pro, the lenses would look the 11 Pro would look very, very small. Again, not bad for what you're getting price-wise. These 3 lenses, camera lenses here, will serve you pretty much perfectly well. I mean, you're going to have probably no problems with them at all. Now, it does still have stereo audio from the speakers, so you have a bottom firing speaker and a front firing speaker via the earpiece. And the speaker's quality is actually not bad. If you're watching a movie or playing music or something, the quality of the speakers and the audio coming out of them it's decent, not great, obviously, because it's a smartphone speaker, but it is also not bad either. It's pretty good for casual listening and movie watching if you're on the go and stuff, so really no problems with that. And you have all this typical wireless connectivity. You got Bluetooth 5.0, you got the 4G LTE cellular connection. And now this phone also does, like I said, only have 4G LTE. It does not have the latest 5G connectivity, but 4G LTE is actually probably still preferred by most because 5G is still not to this day readily available in most areas. Now, in some major cities, you can find 5G, millimeter wave, and all that good stuff, but really for the majority of many people, you're gonna still be stuck and would probably still prefer to use 4G LTE just because of the reliability of it and the battery life saving of it, because 4G uses much less battery power than that of 5G. So with this phone, you're going to be using 4G, obviously, because there's no 5G, and you're going to get better battery life in the long run since you're going to be using the 4G LTE. So that might be one reason you would want to stick with an older phone. And yeah, in terms of support for this phone, being that as it may, I would still presume that this phone will continue to get software updates probably through the next maybe 2 to 3 years. So because Apple lately has been really good about keeping their older phones rather updated in terms of software. So I would probably expect at least another 2 or 3 years of support out of this phone. And even when the support technically ends through Apple and you're not getting any new iOS updates, that doesn't mean that the phone is going to completely be instantaneously useless. So even after support ends, the phone is still going to be working completely fine. It's not going to just suddenly shut off and no longer work anymore. So you can keep on using it beyond the ended support time through Apple. And as long as third-party apps continue to get updates for it, which can even continue to happen 2, 3, 4 years after support ends for a particular iPhone, don't let the lack of support or the potential lack of support scare you away from buying, say, the 11 Pro that we have here, because you're pretty much going to be just fine. I would not worry about buying an 11 Pro based on support or potential lack thereof. Now, if you were going to go and say, want to buy, say, an iPhone 6S like we have right here, I would probably say do not do that, because the 6S is no longer supported and it is definitely showing its age at this point. And it's a good phone, but it's old. It is old, it's outdated, and is not going to probably do what most people need it to do anymore at this point. That's basically it. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.